Doing okay.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Wrapping up what is technically practice 4 for the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500 coming up a week from Sunday. Again, we'll be joined by Kyle Kirkwood and Jimmie Johnson here momentarily. But leading us off, the driver of the number 33, Alzamend Neuro, Ed Carpenter Racing Chevrolet. I said that correctly,
You
right?
nailed it, yeah.
Beautiful. Ed Carpenter, who was 10th quick, third quick on the no-toe, right behind Will Power and his teammate Rinus VeeKay, also first and second on the no-toe. All right, so 5.5 hours of green flag time, over 3,100 laps turned today. Did you get what you wanted to get done today?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we did a little bit of everything. So, yeah, we started the day off doing some race running with the change from where we were the other day, first day, I guess it was. So it took us a little bit to kind of rebalance that change. In the end, I think it was better. But, we weren't super happy in the first part of the day. Then we wanted to shift gears and kind of start getting some of our configurations and balances ready for tomorrow when we start going fast. So it's one of those weird ones, like, I kind of would have liked to have done what Ganassi did and just do race running all day long, but we also have gone into Fast Friday not in a great headspace for qualifying before, and kind of gotten confused once the boost is turned up. So we wanted to go into tomorrow, feeling pretty good about our balance at different trim configurations. So I think we accomplished all that, and then finished off race running again at the end of the day, and felt quite nice.
Did you actually go out and do any qual sims at all? We saw some of that.
Yeah, I did.
Today.
I did two complete ones, and feel like we're in a decent spot. But again, a lot of people haven't shown their hand just yet. I don't think Ganassi's really shown anything. And there was someone else, McLaren. I don't think did any Q sims either today. So there's some big hitters that still are concealing what they can do.
Also joined by the driver of the number 14 Rocket, AJ Foyt Racing Chevrolet, Kyle Kirkwood. Don't mean to rush you. Welcome, though. We're glad you're here.
Need to mention, too, thanks to Jenna for dressing up like Rinus's car. Clearly a big fan.
Jenna Fryer going full in on it.
Well, I can get you a hat if you need one. I know it's...
All right, this is good banner, but save it for the microphone. There's a standing microphone located to your left if you got a question.
Fault. It's my fault, Dave.
No, it's all good. But Kyle, welcome. Thanks for coming up. Tell us about your day today.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think we just got done in the nick of time, and it's starting to downpour out there coming back over here. I'm happy with the way the day went. AJ Foyt Racing seems to be doing pretty decent the past couple days, so I'm happy with the performance so far.
19th quick today for Kyle Kirkwood, the rookie again, driving the number 14 for AJ Foyt. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, Ed, why the shift in philosophy? I know you've passed 9 straight years here. Why did you guys decide? Was it to get the balance, or was it kind of monkey see, monkey do? You saw everybody else going qual sims.
No, I mean, it was our plan coming into the day. I think it's time you lose a whole day to rain, you've got to modify the plan a little bit. So, I didn't do. All we did on opening day was race running. Didn't even think about any trimming. So, the car changes a fair amount of times when they give us all the qualifying power that we'll have tomorrow. So I think it's important to at least have an established kind of qualifying baseline balance going into that, just so then the only thing we're dealing with tomorrow is a whole lot more horsepower.
And how does the car feel in qual sim going? Do you feel like it has in the years past? The Chevy, you feel like is it more even this year between the two?
Who knows? We haven't turned the boost up yet, so it's hard to know what we're going to have. These guys haven't shown anything yet, so things will become more clear tomorrow night.
All right, so let's dig into that. Obviously joined now by the number 48 driver, the number 48 Carvana Chip Ganassi Racing Honda, and Jimmie Johnson.
Today.
A busy day for everybody today. What'd you learn?
Man, a ton. The first lesson that I was reminded of is just because you had a good setup on Tuesday doesn't mean you're going to have a good setup on Thursday. This track, it's in a Cup car, and certainly I'm learning in an Indy car. It's very temperamental, and you you just got to be on top of it and can't put your guard down. You know, things change, and I'm trying to understand why there was a difference. And you know, because obviously race day, when you go to race, you don't get a practice session beforehand to see where your balance is. So, but all in all, a great day. A lot of lessons learned, a lot of laps in the car, a lot of running in the pack. So just a successful day.
All right, more questions for any of the three? Go ahead.
Probably for Ed, since he's a team owner and the veteran up there. How much of a track
That just
position?
depends, veteran at what?
Certainly. Driving at Indianapolis.
Winning
Okay.
poles at Indianapolis. How about that?
Yes, yes.
Just wanted to clarify.
All right.
Not the only old person up here.
No, I'm way older than you, dude.
How young are you?
41.
Come on,
Or
I'm
maybe
older
I'm
than
42.
You're young,
Am I
then.
42, Bree? What am I? Okay. 41.
So I'm the oldest one up
See,
here.
I'm old enough you start to forget, right?
Yeah, but
I might
Jimmy,
be 42. I don't
Jimmy,
know.
you're the rookie up here, though. So
I'm the
41,
rookie and the
41.
oldest.
Yeah.
41.
Yeah, see, I don't care.
My wife has that same problem. She cannot remember her age.
It's 'cause
it keeps going down
It's
every year.
because we
So
don't care.
Oh my God.
What was the question?
I didn't get there, but
Okay, go
how
ahead.
much of a track position race has this become, and how much does that, feed into what you guys did on qualifying setups today? And
I mean, it can be. I mean, at the same time, I was at the front last year and stalled it on the first pit stop and went to the back, and we found our way back to the front. But a lot of it just depends on the day you have. I think if we have a 90-degree type of weather day, it makes the track position probably more important than a racetrack like we had last year that I don't even know if it got to 70 degrees. So it can be, but it's a 500-mile race. A lot can happen. You can do a lot with strategy. There's a lot of ways to find your way to the front. But, from experience, I mean, it's definitely can set you up for an easier 500 miles if you can get the track position and keep it. There's no doubt about that.
Jack, welcome. Good to have you here.
For the young Ed Carpenter, how is the kind of Chevrolet package, how's that playing out so far? Because we've seen a big improvement at the start of the season, obviously on the road courses. How is that translating to Indy at the moment?
I mean, so far so good. I think Chevrolet has been a great partner for us, and all the years I've been here with them, I've never felt like we didn't have a chance to win this race. It's always been a good fight with Chevrolet and Honda, but I think they've worked really hard this past off season and came into this season prepared. So, like I said earlier, I think it's kind of a toss-up in race trim. It's hard to really tell if anyone has an advantage one way or the other. And by tomorrow night, I think we'll maybe have a little bit of an idea of if one manufacturer has the upper hand for qualifying or not. But it seems tight.
For Jimmy and Kyle, I guess you're used to much shorter race weekends in general in both of your careers, really, and obviously this one's a lot longer. How are you kind of approaching the mental aspect of that, making sure that you're ready each day and that you're ready to kind of hit the track running?
Yeah, I guess for me, it's like you said, it's a really long 2 weeks, and it feels like we've been here forever already, and it's only been 3 days, and we missed one day. But it's just not trying to get ahead of yourself. I'm trying to take things as slow as possible. Usually, it's you go into a race week and you get 2 practice sessions, and then you're straight into the race, right? And you got to attack right off the bat. And this year there's been tracks that I haven't been to, and I've had to attack early on, and this one I've had to take a massive step back and kind of just rethink the entire philosophy of the 2 weeks and going into a weekend. So yeah, it's quite a bit different, but I think everything's going pretty well at the moment. We've got a lot of race running in. We did a couple quali sims earlier on this afternoon, and yeah, I think it's going well so far.
For me, this reminds me a lot of the Daytona 500 speed weeks to start the year. We're down there for a couple of weeks, and granted, we had a race the first weekend, but there still is this build up to a competition, which is kind of parallel or similar to building up to qualifying. So thankfully, I had 19 seasons of that to prep me for this.
Thanks.
Bruce.
Jimmy, I've asked you this periodically since you've come over, whether you still feel like a IndyCar driver yet, or if you feel like a NASCAR driver that's running IndyCars. After the speeds you've posted here, since you've hit the track on the oval, do you feel like an IndyCar driver now?
I do, but I'll put an asterisk on it and just say on ovals. I still got a long ways to go on Road Street.
But when you're out here running around, each lap you take, how much more does the confidence level build up? You already had a lot of respect for this place, but how cool is it to know that, every lap you're out there, you're just the grand prize is waiting for you?
Yeah, I mean, every lap is just a great learning opportunity for myself. Today we ran 2 full tire runs or ran it out of fuel just to let me feel what it was like to go from start to finish. And just logging those laps and being in the draft. Some guys would come out on new tires, I was around guys with old tires, just getting a feel for all of it. And, I feel like today I kind of broke through to a new level of comfort and race trim. I still have no clue what it's going to feel like to go 230 something around here when the boost goes up, but I'll get into that tomorrow. But from a race standpoint, I think I covered a lot of territory today, and I'll put that on the back shelf until we get to Monday and have a chance to get into this mindset again. And tomorrow's really a new day, starting with quali sims.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Well, this is for the three of you. How losing a day yesterday changes and affects the program of the team? What becomes more important and what becomes less important for the rest of the week?
I mean, it just condenses the plan. We still have to get the same amount of work done. So you can see that everyone kind of has a different approach to how they're managing the work. I think like our team and Andretti probably had a more similar philosophy today than what the Ganassi cars had. A little bit different philosophy, but it's the same for everybody. It would be worse if you lost a day and other people were on track, but the fact that nobody ran, I think it's just condenses all the work we need to do.
Personally, I think it benefits experienced teams and drivers, and then obviously drivers with less experience or teams with less experience you want and need every day that you can. So that's my first thought, but then quickly behind that, on more of a sarcastic note, it's less time to confuse ourselves. So it just depends on how the weekend plays out.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what you just said there. It's we're just keeping it simple. We kind of planned for the weather to ruin one day, so we got through all of our big test items the first day, which was really good. There's no hiccups there, so I'm glad that happened. And today we got through the test items we needed to, so we've actually kind of made up for the lost time.
Up next, go ahead.
Ed, you and both your teammates pretty high up on a non-tow speed. I'm just wondering, is there a reason for that? What goes into being good with that?
Well, I mean, we all three did qualifying simulations, so, not everyone did that today. It seems like we have some decent speed, but again, there's a lot of good cars that didn't do any qualifying simulations today, so doesn't quite mean anything till tomorrow. That's what I was talking about earlier. We just wanted to do it and get a good baseline and balance for the configurations we plan on running tomorrow with the boost.
And you and Connor have obviously been doing this a little longer than Renus. What kind of advice have you had for him?
I mean, Renus doesn't need much advice anymore. He figured this place out quick, and I think more so than any place we go, I think he got comfortable, and the way he drives and the feel that he has, really it suits him well here. So, he pulls his weight for sure, and I'll still give him some things. Like I saw him going to turn 1 today on a cool down lap, or turn 3 and send it like 4 wide around the top, and I'm like, hey dude, they've got warm-up lanes, like just use them. It's no big deal. But so there's stuff like that, but the hard part he has figured out.
Thanks.
Nathan.
First question for Ed. A little change in the qualifying procedures this year. To get pole, you guys have to make 3 runs at it instead of 2. I think probably back when you started, might have only had to do 1. I can't quite remember. But any thoughts on having to make like 3 runs just right there on the ragged edge of things to try and go for a pole? You enjoy being able to do that one more time, or kind of wish it was back at 2?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I do love qualifying here, but I don't know that I love doing 2 runs like within 30 minutes. It's kind of nice to do one and then recharge the batteries a little bit, because it is stressful and draining, even though it's 4 laps. But it's the same for everyone. It'll be interesting for sure. The only times that I've had to kind of do multiple runs is usually when we're having a bit of a struggle and you've got to go try to find some more time. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think I've thought about it a lot, trying to figure out exactly what it's going to be like, but it'll really, I guess, largely depend on, one, getting into the fast 12, and then from there, what the conditions are and what the balance of the car is will determine how stressful the second run is.
Do you feel like the procedures that IndyCar's put in place with, I think there's a couple laps, I don't know if you would call them maybe a warm-up lap to...
The gladiator laps you're talking about.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Do you feel like that will be able to do enough to even things out from the guys that, the guy that finished 12th on Saturday that's, if they were to get into the Fast Six and has a half an hour or so ahead on the guys that...
I think it's going to work pretty well. I simulated that today too, just to kind of see what it was going to be like, and I think that'll be a good procedure.
Okay. And for Jimmie, you mentioned you still made some big strides today in race running, but still have a little ways to go in these last two-hour practice sessions we have on Monday and Friday on Carb Day. Are there any things in particular that you feel like you're still focusing on, or will try to hone in on those last 4 hours to try and get ready for May 29th?
I think it's a combination of finding the balance when you're in clean air versus in traffic. There's a pretty big difference in how the car handles and behaves. So managing that and just understanding how uncomfortable I can be by myself to then be more comfortable in traffic or the other way around. So those are the things I'm personally working through and trying to understand, on top of working out the timing that it takes to set up a pass and get the proper runoff of 2 or 4.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nathan. Ed, or Eric, sorry.
Yep. Yeah, for the rookies, now I'm going to have the boost go up, and you're going to go a lot faster going into turn 1 tomorrow. What are the thoughts going into tomorrow, knowing that you're going to be probably pushing 240 going into turn 1?
For me, it's a little bit intimidating going from the quali sim and pulling all the downforce out and feeling how light the car is there. It's kind of like you don't really want to turn the wheel because it feels like you're just unsure what the car is going to do, and adding another 10 or 15 mile per hour to it is going to be less than comfortable, I would have to say. So, but from the people that I've talked to, they all say it's not that big of a step. It feels better because you get the runs out of the corners, and it's not like you lose tons of grip due to the speed. But I guess I'll just let you know after I go through turn 1 the first time with more power.
Jimmie, you going to bed?
Yeah, all of that, and then the only thing to add is the last time I was in qualifying trim here was in a Cup car, and we let off and used a little brake to get into turn 1. So to feel the boost and the straightaway speed and look down at that 90-degree turn and think that I gotta hold it flat, that's gonna be an interesting conversation with my right foot.
And Jimmie, you've got 4 good guys and Chip around you, and you've got super techs around you. Like, what's some of the best advice you guys have been given this week, as we're heading to qualifying weekend?
For me, Chip's just been really adamant about knowing where the right rear tire is. In a Cup car, I feel like the advantage I had for so many years is I was willing to drive the car really loose, and it really benefited, the style of racing and the way the fuel burns off in those cars and protect the right front tire. So here, you certainly need to have the car turning well, but you cannot slide it around like you do a Cup car. So the advice that Chip's given me and Dario keeps hammering me on is just know where that right rear is.
Yeah, the number one thing he said to me was just to trust your instincts when you go out there. If something doesn't feel right, just stop, because there was a moment where we missed it on aero and ended up with the wrong rear wing, and I went out and did 1 lap at 185, and I was like, something doesn't feel right. I remember he said that, came in, and we realized we were 2 degrees off on the rear wing, so that was one thing.
Go ahead, Chris.
We had the rain yesterday that washed the entire track clean. How similar did the track today feel, compared to Tuesday?
I thought it was a different track today for myself. I felt like there was less grip today from the start for me.
Do y'all?
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was different. I don't know if I'd say it was less grip, but I thought there was a bit of a balance shift, which happens around here, whether it's track temp, sun, wind, whatever it may be. Just something you learn to not freak out about and adapt to.
Yeah, for me, it was, I didn't really notice much because we went with a completely different car, but talking to JR, who was running the same car I switched to, he said that, yeah, it seemed a bit freer to start off the morning.
And we have a bit of drizzle coming on right now. Does that give you all any apprehension that some of the rubber laid down today might get washed off and it might be a bit more greener than you were hoping?
I don't think so. I mean, I think for me, I think back to the open test, the track came in really quick, and it had been sitting for a long, long time. So having 33 cars here, it'll come back to life pretty quickly. It's more just adapting to what the day brings. It's going to be, I think the big topic tomorrow is going to be wind. Looks like the wind's going to be pretty strong. So I think that'll be the dominant, difference for tomorrow.
Same thing for y'all?
Just to share with you another one of the differences between a Cup car and an Indy car, we loved green racetracks. That's when we had the most potential for whatever reason. And just the rubber, the way it lays down, the type of rubber that we were on. And it's quite the opposite here.
Thanks.
One or two more, Bruce?
Jimmie, even though the fast speeds, are aided with tows and with traffic and all that, you've been running in the top 6 basically all week and even back in the test. So is the Fast 6 a realistic, legitimate goal for you?
I don't know yet. I really don't. I have not made a QSIM run. I just have no idea what to expect. I feel like my experience in working the draft and understanding how to time a draft and a run and to post a fast lap time is one thing, but I don't know what to expect for Q.
Hi, Jenna.
Hi. Hello. I think my question's for you too. Ramon this morning, I'm not quoting him directly, but he said something about when you have a moment out there, butt puckering and things like that. Have you guys experienced any of that as first timers here?
I've had a few exciting moments off turn 2.
How does it feel?
That butt puckering thing that he talked about, yeah. I realized the last time it happened that going back to the gas and unwinding the steering wheel actually helped the car recover, which was totally counterintuitive to what I thought would happen. So I'm not suggesting it, but it worked in that given circumstance for me. So once you lose the nose in these cars, it takes a long time for them to recover and get it back. And that was my issue off 2 a few times.
Anything for you?
Yeah, I had a couple out there. There's one that I got loose right in the middle of one, did like one solid tank slap, and after that it took me a few laps to have the confidence to hold it flat again. And then multiple situations where you get a little bit high in someone's aero wash and you just end up right in the middle of their wake, and you can't get out of it. You just get out of the throttle and you just feel like the car is never going to turn. It's like the onboard videos do not give it any justice, because you start turning the wheel and then all of a sudden you just don't turn anymore. You get to about 25 degrees of steering input. After that, you're just past the slip angle. The car is just not going to turn anymore. So it's a very scary moment when you get past that moment and you're just understeering, looking at the wall, and that's coming at you at 220 miles per hour.
Does it take your breath away?
A little bit, yeah. It makes your heart drop for a moment, but you get back on the horse and keep digging.
Ed, do you remember any of your first moments?
Yeah, I mean, it still happens. If you're pushing and going hard here and pushing the limits of it, you're always gonna have that. I think having more experience and having different things happen, yeah. But for sure, you learn quickly, like Kyle said earlier, to trust your instincts, and this isn't the type of place that you push through for very long until it comes race time. But yeah, too many to count.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Jack. We'll wrap it up here.
Can anyone explain to me what butt puckering is to the English dude? Because that's a new one to me.
There's a follow-up. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's to keep you from shitting your pants, basically.
Got it. Context works.
Yeah.
Ed, just based off your experience here at the Speedway, how much of a problem is the wind likely to be, and is it likely to reduce your running at all tomorrow, or how badly can it impact what you're?
No, I think we'll run in it. I've always been of the mind that you need to run in whatever conditions you get, because we don't know what exactly we'll have next Sunday, so you need to be prepared for it. So I think the direction of the wind makes a big difference here, and gustiness can change things and make you feel different things than you feel on a calm day. So it's just something you have to be cognizant of and aware of as you're preparing your car.
Thanks very much.
One more from Zach, and we'll call it a day.
Ed, what do you think about Connor's hot tub prank?
I thought whoever did it, it was a brilliant idea. I know exactly what those things are like, and for any parents that has kids, it is not.
I voted you. I voted you.
It's not. I don't mess with my own people. But and first off, like you get a cereal bowl of those things, and they end up all over your house. Like,
Seem to know a lot about these.
I do, but it wasn't me. I don't mess with anybody. So he knows it wasn't me.
Jimmy, anybody gotten you yet?
No, I open the door every morning and look around and wonder what's happened. Nothing's happened yet.
Yeah, just keep your head down.
Yeah, it's a matter of time.
Jimmy, has anything? Were there any moments in NASCAR where pranks were running rampant? Maybe during speed weeks when you guys were together a lot.
No, not like this. I mean, this is a unique environment to its own. I mean, there's plenty of fun had, but as far as sabotaging each other like this, they missed that opportunity over there during my generation.
We're glad you're a part of this environment now. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Ed Carpenter, Jimmie Johnson, Kyle Kirkwood. Just a quick reminder, tomorrow we start bright and early. Fast Friday press conferences begin at 8:45 with Team Penske, 9:15 with Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing, then at 10 o'clock with Chip Ganassi Racing. That's followed by the Louis Schwitzer Award after that. There will be a quick handout up on the racks, kind of recapping what the 2022 Indy 500 qualifying format looks like, in case you have not heard. There's some references to that. We'll have one sheeter that you are able to take and hopefully explain what we'll go through on Saturday and Sunday. That's it for now, though. Thank you so much.